Good afternoon, REI Nation. Kent Clothier here. Welcome to our live calls this afternoon. I'll introduce my guest in just a second. Again, thank you for joining us. Those of you that have been following us for a long time. Today, you know that we have about 4,600 people in our group today that are active in REI Nation Facebook group. We've been doing this about 7 or 8 months. So we're thrilled that you're on the call with us today, and we hope that you would like it, share it, love it. That's how we grow the group. We're almost, we'll be at 5,000 members on there in the next few weeks. And again, we thank everybody for joining us today. And we have found out that we have a pretty good audience and people that want to see this and follow us. And we appreciate it and thank everybody that takes the time to join us today. On behalf of the Clothier family and our team, we're very, very appreciative of all of our listeners. So let me introduce a couple of people to you today, our people that are on here. Todd Jefferson is our guest today. Todd is one of our clients, and he's from South Carolina. And then Ashley Claunch. Ashley, raise your hands. Been with me for how long, Ashley? Or us?
12 years now, 12
years. She sold a few thousand houses on here, so we're glad to have her. She's going to be contributing today. And then Kerry, where are you at right there? Kerry's been with us how long, Kerry?
3.5. 3.5 years.
Can move up a little bit closer there, will you?
Sorry, 3.5 years.
That's a lot better. 3.5 years in customer service and handles hundreds and hundreds of our clients. And she'll jump in here today and be a part of the conversation. So let me open it up, Todd, by taking a few minutes and just tell us about yourself and your journey and how everything is going.
Okay. Thanks, Kent. Well, first of all, again, Todd Jefferson, nice to be here. Thanks for inviting me to the call today. You know, I've worked my whole life pretty much in IT. I grew up with my father actually building new homes and apartment complexes. So I had some exposure during my teen years and college years and in what we called doing the gopher stuff and building houses and roofing houses and stick building and pouring concrete and mix and mortar and doing things like that. But as fate would have it, and I went to college actually for construction, thinking that I was going to kind of follow in his footsteps. But as fate would have it, I moved to Southern California and tried to get a job in construction, and my Spanish wasn't quite up to snuff for working in Southern California. And a friend of mine got a hold of me, and I ended up taking a job working in a service bureau and doing some IT stuff. And that was where my career then launched in IT, and I was in IT for, I guess, probably 40 years, close to it, and traveled around about 30, I guess, going on 36 years ago now. I moved to Greenville, South Carolina, and went to work for a large tire manufacturing firm, one of the largest, maybe the largest in the world. Hope y'all are driving on Michelin tires. I'll do that plug there for my retirement. But, you know, it was a fantastic company, traveled all over the world, was in IT, I was in group audit. But something kept, you know, always kind of kept my foot kind of close to the ground and my ear to the ground in real estate. My wife, in fact, has been a realtor for about a little over 20 years. And about, I don't know, 15 years or so ago, I decided, you know, I speak IT and my wife speaks real estate, and we don't really have a common language after work to talk about. So I'm going to go get my real estate license. So I went and got my real estate license, and, you know, really didn't do much with it other than maybe a couple of deals a year just to pay for the licensing and continuing education, but to have a common language and to just kind of keep track of what's happening in the market, and so we could have something to talk about after work besides IT. Last year, I decided that, you know, I'd had enough of what we call AIS, which is something in seat of an airplane.
I get it.
I have about, I don't know, over 2 million miles actual flying distance on Delta from traveling
Wow.
around the world, and
Wow.
mostly going to France to the home ship. And I said, it's I think it's time to maybe launch a new career and take what I've earned at Michelin and through their good graces, and save through 401k plans and savings, and maybe get more full on into real estate and start some security around income, and looking forward to retirement, and take that branch, right? So I studied the market, studied the different options, did a lot of studying on the investment passive income kinds of opportunities. I'm kind of a guy that likes to have. My father always taught me that balance and doing having things in moderation were two key things in life. And in balance, he said, think of yourself as a stool, a three-legged stool, and you kind of need to have maybe three arms of financial assets in your portfolio as you get on in life, and where you have a good kind of mix of assets that are driving your income and driving your livelihood. And so the three for me are basically passive income, active real estate investing, and then some stocks and some stock market activity. And so that's worked out pretty good for me so far over the last year. And I, after researching the passive income market, I landed on REI Nation through an affiliation through Fortune Builders, actually, and then signed up one day and got my contact at Fortune Builders to schedule a call. So we had a call. Gosh, I don't remember now. That was last fall, I guess, Ashley. And I said, look, I want to start my portfolio. I want to get that, get a good foundation, and then expand on that maybe after we get an initial foundation set. And so last year, I think we bought 4 houses last year, and then one right at the beginning of this year by the time it closed. And so we're at 5. The stock market has been pretty good to me so far. And I've also had a couple of active real estate deals, though, to be honest, I've kind of put that on hold. In fact, I'm not at my normal house. I'm not in my office today. I'm at one of the passive income properties that I have that we actually verbo most of the time. It's on a lake. It's on a lake down here in South Carolina. But I put my active real estate kind of on hold because of COVID. And but we've got a couple of things happening, and I was telling Ashley, actually I was telling Kerry, I believe, a few weeks ago that I'm about ready to start on the phase 2 implementation of my passive income. And so here in the not too distant future, maybe we'll start looking for another house to get under the books with REI Nation. So far, I can tell you, Kent, that your team has been stellar. I'll really say that. And I'm, you can ask anybody that over the last 40 years that knows me around the world as a group auditor with Michelin and IT senior executive or senior manager in Michelin. I'm pretty transparent. I'm going to tell you like it is. And Ashley and Kerry and Lauren and all the people that I've dealt with at REI Nation have been just really, I'd say rock stars, right? I mean, you can tell they have a passion for what they do, that they love coming to work. And I think that's, it's key really to having a relationship and building trust and establishing that foundation of, I feel like I can call anytime and I'll be heard, and people will get back to me, and it's always been the case so far. So great job, guys, on having another satisfied customer for sure.
Well, we thank you for the comments, and I'll talk about our team a little bit more in a few minutes. But one of the things about our company, Todd, is only the best of the best can work for us, and we're very particular about people that work for us because, as we told a recent person yesterday that we were interviewing right here in my office about, we're chasing excellence every day, and we want to make your experience and the other 2,400 roughly investors that are with our company an unbelievable experience. And we know 98.5% of the time our clients are really, really happy. But when we get to that 1.5%, that's the part that I'm working on, because we tend to take a mistake and kind of blow it up a little bit in that 1.5%, so we can really, really learn from it on how we can get better and provide a better experience not only for you, but our residents and our vendors and our great team of staff, which you have 2 on here today. So, but let me just ask you a question to get started here. So the passive and the turnkey, that's what that's what piqued your interest. I heard you said you had some VRBO stuff working. So is that really where your focus is on? And if so, what was the main contributing factors to the turnkey space?
Well, one of the things that that I consider, Ken, is what's my value? That might sound strange. I don't know. But when I take a look at, doing work, and I want to do less work, right? Obviously, I'm getting older. I still feel like I'm 45, but that's not reality.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah, I'd like to be 45 again, but anyway, It is what it is. So, I've worked pretty hard for my whole life. It's just etched in when I was really young, I grew up on a farm. So, we had half of our farm in livestock and half of our farm in growing the grains and the stuff to feed the livestock. So I know what it is to work. I think anybody that grows up on a farm kind of figures that out pretty quick. But, it's just part of my DNA. So, when you have 3 things that you're working on, whether that's active real estate and now passive income and then, maybe a little bit of the stock market and understanding, kind of doing a lot of research on companies and what their value proposition is and their financial well-being, et cetera, you got to kind of figure out, okay, where do I want to spend time and what risk do I want to take? And, how do I want to make sure that my assets are protected and that I have a surviving portfolio that can not only sustain our livelihood, but be a legacy for my family to take over when I'm passed on, right? So I think passive income is what appealed to me in that aspect, and in the fact that what you offer is does it make as much money as I can make if I work full time on other things? Maybe not. Does it offer less risk and more stability and less time in terms of consuming from me, in order to manage it and to generate that revenue stream? Absolutely. Right. So it's just one of those pillars of the stool that I think is, for me, key to, that's the appealing part. Right. It's something that I can say, look, I trust this organization to help me establish a cash flow and a plan that will generate income, long into the future, and be there when I need it to help support us. And I really don't have to do much in terms of managing it. Right. Well, I can't imagine doing all I'm doing. And then also trying to manage maybe 15 or 20 properties, which is my ultimate target. So
that's why, Todd, people come to us. And again, our reputation, credibility, and integrity is the most important thing to us. We have most investors have never even seen their properties with us. I would say probably 70% today of people have never seen their over 6,000 properties that we manage. So when we used to travel around and do events around the country, and Ashley would travel with us, and a little bit before Kerry got here, but we would talk to the investors about the importance of what we do. You put your head down on the pillow at night, you go to sleep, you don't have to worry about these houses. We got them covered 24/7. That's what we do. That's the kind of team we have. And that's the only type of people that can work for us, because we know our investors have high expectations, as they should, as do the other three parts of our circle that work with us. So we're on the clock every day and trying to perform at the highest level. And that's what we do. Let me go to Ashley. Ashley, jump in here. And you've been dealing with Todd for a while. Come on in there. What do you got, Ash?
Well, Todd, I appreciate all the compliments earlier as well. And, you can tell it is truly a joy of ours to work with you guys and just work with people. That's what we love is working with people and all of the parts fall into place on the back end. But I wanted to ask, because we do have a lot of first time, investors that will be watching this later or on now. And I want to talk about kind of your experience when you first got started with this. So, picking up that first property to picking up the fifth property, did it get easier as we went along with the properties that I sent over? Talk a little bit about the communication you and I had with kind of getting on the same page, really, and making sure I was putting things in front of you that were lining up with your goals and so forth. So talk a little bit about that experience, especially for these newer investors, because everything's done remotely, so obviously you didn't come down and we didn't drive to the properties and go into each property and do all of that. So talk a little bit more about that as, from your perspective.
Well, yeah, sure. That's right. You don't drive to them. Although I will say that oddly enough, last night I was thinking, what is the first trip I'm going to take when I can take a trip? And I drew a map from here to Dallas, Fort Worth, going through Little Rock, Arkansas, and Memphis, Tennessee, where my properties are.
Well, we would love to have you.
Dallas, Fort Worth is where my sister lives. So,
there you go.
And where you might also have some properties. I don't know. Anyway,
right.
But when we got started, Ashley, I think as I look back, one of the things that comes to mind for me is that I really didn't quite understand what the turnkey process was. And again, this is just me being candid. And so I didn't really, I was kind of probably a little over analytic, because I'm an analytic kind of person, being an IT guy. And, I wanted to know everything about the property. And so I did a lot of research, and I did a Google and a Zoom 3D, and I looked at I'm also a real estate agent. So I did kind of a CMA that I was, from my perspective, and, and then all of a sudden it hit me, right? The light bulb came on. I said, you know what? I really don't really need to do this much work. Of course, I want to have some comfort level, go in and do a Google Street View and say, just to have some personal kind of visibility, or know that I've done some due diligence, right? But it's not about necessarily doing all the things that I would do if I was going to buy a house for me. Right. I'm buying the house to perform financially, right? And when you think of it in that context, then it's really more a numbers game than it is a due diligence on the property itself, other than, does the property look like it's in an area that is growing, that is not,
on the decline, right?
Next to a chemical plant or something like that in Houston, maybe. But other than that, in terms of dealing with REI Nation and you and the other folks, that's when I really got a lot more comfortable. And once we got that first house, 825 Bowen in Memphis under our belt, I think that was the first one. And then once that, it's kind of like, okay, the first one's done now.
Right.
Now I feel comfortable. Let's go.
Right.
Right. So I think I don't know if that was your impression or not, but it's kind of the way I felt. I felt like, okay, the first one's done. I maybe overanalyzed a little bit, but it's going to work. And once I figured that out, then the others came a lot easier.
Todd, did
Exactly.
excuse me, Todd, did you consider any other turnkey companies other than us
Yeah.
in your journey?
Yeah. One in Florida, and another one in, well, I might want to say St. Louis, but I'm not sure exactly where the other one was.
There's quite a few around. So
Yeah.
very good.
One
Kerry,
in
jump in.
Jacksonville.
Yep, Jacksonville. Kerry, jump in here.
Sure. So Todd, you and I have been working together for a few months now, and you are stellar to work with. You are one of the easiest people to talk to that I have. So anyway, but you talked about the customer service side, and Kent always touches on that. And so when I first started, I've only been here 3.5 years, but in my very first interview, I remember whoever it was I was talking to, it may have been Kent, it may have been someone else doing my interview, but they said, we're a customer service company who buys, sells, and rents houses. And that really stuck with me because I'm a customer service oriented person. I've always been that, done other roles, other jobs like that. So, so that really stuck out to me. And this truly is, like Ashley said, we do enjoy coming to work every day. It's a fantastic place to work. And I enjoy working with all of my investors. So, what can you tell us about your experience with our overall customer service? I have a fantastic team behind me that backs me up, and I come to you with everybody else's, words and stories and stuff. But what can you say about your experience with us on the customer service side?
Well, I mean, it's just, I think I go back to my opening comments, right? I've only dealt with rock stars. So, I mean, literally every time I send I think I can't remember everyone I've dealt with, but Lauren, I think is one of the girls that, I worked with early on, and, the few other people, but, I had some questions, I'd send them a note, and it's like almost the time when I hit the enter key to send the note, they're getting back to me or calling me, or, making sure that I understand, the answer to the question or whatever. It almost sounds too good to be true, maybe, but it's the truth. It really has been a pleasure, really working with everybody there. I've never had a single instance, and again, to be fair, we haven't worked that long together, 6-7 months maybe, right? We bought 5 houses in 6 or 7 months, but actually we bought 5 houses in about 2 months or 3 months. But everything's really been smooth. I think that I had a question about, I didn't get a piece of paperwork from the closing attorney or something. And so I called and said, wasn't I supposed to get, kind of the closing document or something? And 5 minutes later I had it. Right. And so it's just been, they're on top, right? They're on top of things. So it's really been a good experience.
A minute ago, you touched on, I just lost my train of thought. Move on.
I'll come back to you, Todd.
It went totally away.
Todd, talking about our customer service bar, when we first started this, we had 1 or 2 ladies in there. Today we have 8 ladies in our customer service department, and their job is like she said, we're a customer service company first that happens to sell real estate. So the message that our family wants these ladies to do down there is, when we have a new investor, we talk to the new investor every week for the first 4 weeks after he or she closes, and then once a month going forward. And then we have some investors that have been with us 10 or 15 years, and they cut it back to 3 or 4 times a year or whatever. I get it. You guys are all over everything and on it. And so we mainly want to be the conduit between our investors, because in my due diligence many, many years ago, we realized that most customers or most property management companies could care less about the investor. and they run from the calls. They don't want to talk to them. They don't want to deliver the bad news when there's a maintenance or a move out. And we take a proactive approach to that because we have good news and bad news. We have, we've extended your rental now. We have you another 2 years. Our average resident today stays almost 6 years. So we have that good news, and we have the good news of the rental going up and the whatever the make. Then there's some bad news when we have a maintenance or we have a move out. So that's our job, is to deliver that quickly, timely, and efficiently to our investors, and then move forward, because our job, and the most important job in our company, is renting houses. Every one of our 100 people will tell you, and hopefully you come to Memphis and see us sometime, and they will tell you the most important job in our company is renting houses. Today we have about 40 houses out of 6,500 available to rent. And that's the number one thing that fuels our growth, because an investor is not going to buy another house if he or she has houses sitting out there that are not rented. And we realize that, and realize it from day one. So all of our people are focused on these kind of KPIs for our investors to make your experience even better than what it is. So
Yeah.
Ashley, did I forget you over there?
You left me on pause too long.
I didn't mean to leave you. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good. But what Kent was talking about, and also Todd, what you talked about, I love talking. I've been here 12 years. So I have clients that, like you said, you're fairly new with us and you're just getting started. But I love the clients that say, hey, I've been with you guys, and not only through the highs, but the lows. You guys have been the best. And that's the greatest compliment, because we're not just here for the highs and the good moments and the winning moments, but we're also here through those tough moments, because that's where we shine. That's where we take it off of your plate. That's where we handle everything. That's where we make sure you're protected and we get things going again. So it's a big part of what we do. And, I think the last kind of question I have for you is, again, this is going to go out to many investors, a lot of them new, not working with our company yet. So what advice would you have getting started, as far as getting started? Even you alluded to, you use your retirement account, IRA funds. We leveraged that out in some 5 properties so far, and put that to work for you. But what advice, and again, you also have talked about the active side and being a realtor, and your wife being a realtor, but what advice would you have as far as the turnkey side of things and getting started and timing on that and so forth?
Well, the time, let's start with timing. Do it now. Do it now. Don't wait. Right.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about it, I would encourage a would-be investor to get off of the sidelines and get in the river, because my father, I've never known anything more stable. I'm not sure there is anything more stable than real estate, over time. Right. I hope people didn't have GameStop yesterday or today, because they lost a lot of money if they did. You're never going to lose that kind of money in real estate.
Right.
You're going to have some downturns, right? You're going to have some deviations, but the trajectory is always up, right? Land
Exactly.
is finite. And as long as the population keeps growing, which I don't see any significant downward trend in population coming, real estate's going to continue to be in demand. And I can tell you one thing right now. If you go in any major city, and that's especially in the South, and Ken, I'm sure you know this, you come to Greenville or Greenville County, South Carolina. You can't go a mile in any direction and not see building.
Mm-hmm.
Right, all over the county.
Yeah.
It's incredible. In fact, the city of Greenville announced yesterday that they're putting a 6-month moratorium on new builds.
Wow.
Because it's growing too fast.
Wow.
And they just want to say, stop, pause. We got to redo our plan, because we've gotten, they do a 10-year or a 5 or a 10-year plan. And now they said, whoa, that 5 or 10-year plan is blown. We've got to have a pause and redo our plan to, kind of figure out how are we going to manage? Because it's just growing that fast. It's absolutely crazy. I mean, and if you take, National Association of Realtors report this month said, yeah, we're off a little bit in terms of sales, but guess what? Inventory is almost at its lowest ever. There was and they were talking about the new home resales, home resales.
Mm-hmm.
There was one example they gave, and they said, this isn't everything, but it's indicative of kind of the period that we're in.
Yep.
A house had 97 offers on it.
Yeah, we read that.
In one weekend.
Yep.
Right. And 37% of all houses sold today, according to the National Association of Realtors, sell for above asking price.
Mm-hmm.
That gives you an idea of the demand. So if that's demand, what's happening to prices? Right.
Yep.
What's happening to your equity?
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're interested in getting in real estate, my advice as a real estate agent, as an investor, get in the water. No time like the present.
Well, Todd, let me ask you, we'll wrap up here in a few minutes. What is, if you have any questions for Kerry or Ashley or myself today on anything you'd like us to ask us about our operation, our company, our team?
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't have anything in particular. Like I said, I'm just about ready to pull the trigger on, saying, hey, Ashley, start sending me some new opportunities. But I'd just ask Kent, from your perspective, what are you seeing? Is your thinking in line with mine in terms of the real estate market and turnkey? Where do you see your business going?
Well, we have more demand today than we've ever had.
Yeah.
We're buying about 115 to 130 houses a month. We bought 144 last month. We're going to be right in at 1 o'clock today. We were zeroed in on coming in at 120 houses this month that we're going to buy with about 6 days left, 5 or 6 days left in the month. Our renovation team today has 200 houses under renovation in all of our cities, and they're bringing out about 25 houses a week for our sales team to bring to people like yourself all over the different cities that we have. So we're in an unbelievable thing coming out. A year ago this month, we didn't know exactly where we were going to be, and really almost a year ago to the day. And we went into kind of a crisis mode on our biggest concern back then was collections. And
I remember some of the podcasts or with Chris.
Yeah, we had a big concern about that, but we put an elite crisis team on that, and we sailed right through that, and we came out better than we thought. By the time we got to June and July, the demand for our houses, it was unbelievable. And people just wanted to buy them. They weren't coming into town. They just wanted to buy them. And then through that journey, all through last summer and into the fall and into the winter, the prices kept going up. Today, our average sale price is about $180,000, where a year ago was about $150,000.
Yeah. So
we had to educate our investors again on a little bit higher price house. Today, we have investors that are looking at houses, and we sold more houses in the first quarter this year at over $275,000 than we ever have. And then Ashley and all the team of salespeople are talking to people today about houses. Is there any appetite out there for people in the $300,000 to $400,000 range? Because we're seeing houses that are like that out there today. So the market is changing a little bit. The lower priced houses are obviously less because all the cities that we're in, the prices are going up. We have about 7 people in our buying department, and that's all they do is buy houses in 7 cities. Or 8 cities. We're looking at expanding into more cities later this year. So we're on the way to 10,000 properties in our property management company. And that's been a goal that we've had for like 5 years. Today, we're right at 6,500. We'll go past 7,000 later this year. We have more and more people bringing us their properties from outside to manage today than ever before. That's not something we did till last October, November. And we've had about 90 houses already move over to us in the first 3 months. So that says a lot about our property management team, which we're real proud of. And then they jump into the customer service part of that too. We give them that service. So we're just right now, knock on wood, Todd, we're really, we're clicking on all cylinders. We've got a great team, fantastic people that work for us. Chris and I and Brett, my wife Sherry, we're very lucky to have the people that we have. Today we have 33 people that have been with us over 5 years, and that strengthens foundation of our company when we have that kind of depth in our company, that kind of people. And so we're just in a really, really good place. The most important asset that we have is our people. And we realize that every single day. And every one of them come to work every day, and old school terminology, they bring their lunch bucket every day. All right. And they're grinding and they're getting it done. And we're lucky to have those type of people. And you got two of them on here right now. And we're just lucky to have these type of people. And we have another 100 of them that are not on a call like that today. So, but again, any other questions that you, I hope I answered that one there a little bit. I hope I didn't skirt it there, but.
No, that's, I don't think I have any other questions other than, I hope that it's not so much a question as it is as a wish for continued success and growth. And I hope you find the more people like Kerry and Ashley to join the team, because it sounds like you're going to need some.
We've hired about 10 or 12 people this year so far, and we're looking for 4 or 5 more right now, but our team will continue to grow to be able to serve our clients like yourself. And I just wanted to say that, again, we would welcome you to come into town at any time. We usually have 2 to 3 guests per week that come into either our Dallas office or our Memphis office. And maybe from time to time you've seen the post up on the group, and we look forward. We love it when our guests come in and meet our team and see the operation and see what we do here in Memphis and what we do over in South Lake, Texas at our office there. And we have probably 25 people over there and about 60 or 70 people here in Memphis in our 2 offices. And our REI Nation is in the building that Ashley and I and Kerry are in. And right across the street is our property management office for Memphis. And we have another 20 people working in there. So we would welcome you down anytime to be our guest, come in and see us and meet us. And then I'd also like to say that one thing that's really important to us, if we've earned the opportunity for you to refer somebody to us, we would certainly be appreciative of that. Again, if we've earned the opportunity along your journey with us, and Ashley and our team would appreciate that. And but it's been a great pleasure having you on today. You've been a great guest. You enlightened our audience that'll be watching and listening to this. So any other comments, sir?
No, thank you. Thank you again for having me. Anytime that, maybe down the road when we get to 10, we can do it again.
It'd be our pleasure to have you on anytime. So again, thank you, sir. Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, Ashley. Good job today, ladies. Todd, it's our pleasure to meet you and to serve you every day and take care of your properties. And we look forward to having you in town and meeting you, sir.
All right. Thank you, Kent. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Bye, Todd.
Thanks, Ashley.
Have a good one.